Colby, math.com.
We're dividing fractions and mixed numbers on this video. I chose a really simple example for the first problem purposefully because I want to illustrate the definition of division and why it works. If we have 9/10 divided by 9/10, we know that's one whole, right? How many 9/10 are in 9/10? 1. Be the same as if I said 20 divided by 20. How many 20s are in 20? 1. Any number divided by itself equals 1. But we know the definition of division says that dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So if I change this expression to multiplying by the reciprocal of 9/10, that's 10/9, which would be 90 90ths, which equals 1. Or you could simplify, you know that the 10/10 would equal 1 over 1, the 9/9 would equal 1 over 1. You get 1 as your product now that it's a multiplication problem. But any number divided by itself is 1, so you can see why we multiply by the reciprocal. So the answer to this one is 1. If we have 4/21 divided by 4/7, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of 4/7, which is 7/4. And then we could look for an opportunity. The reason we can simplify is, let me just expand this. This is going to be equal to 4 multiplied by 7 divided by 21 multiplied by 4. And you see the 4/4? 4/4 is one whole. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by 4 is 1. The common factor for 7 and 21 would be 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So we have 1 multiplied by 1, which is 1, and 3 multiplied by 1, which is 3. We could have done that before we multiplied. Any number in the numerator and denominator with a common factor, you can factor out that common factor. So we factor out the 4/4 here, we factor out the 7/7 here. Okay, and this is also a good one to understand why we multiply by the reciprocal, because a 7th is 3 times as large as a 21st, right? A 21st is a very small piece. A 7th is 3 times as large a piece. And so if we want to know how many times does 4/7 go into 4/21, it can't even go in one whole time because this is 3 times smaller than this. So it goes in 1/3 of a time. If that kind of helps you understand. If we have a mixed number in our division problem, and I go into this more in the multiplying fractions video, but we're going to convert this to an improper fraction first. So 6 2/5 will be equal to 5/6 is 30, plus 2 is 32. So 32/5, because the 6 wholes was 30/5. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So 30/5 and 2/5 is 32/5 divided by 4/5. I never do. You might wonder, why didn't you change it to multiplication at the same time? You could, but I don't like to do. I like to do one operation at a time. It's just less chance of making an error. So now that we've got both our dividend and our divisor written as fractions, now I'm going to apply the definition of division. 32/5 divided by 4/5 is the same as 32/5 multiplied by the reciprocal of 4/5, which is 5/4. This time let's look for common factors that we could factor out. 5 and 5 have a common factor of 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 32 and 4 have a common factor of 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. So we end up with 8 multiplied by 1 is 8. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. And so our quotient here is 8. 4/5 goes into 6 2/5 8 times. In fact, if you multiplied 8 by 4/5, you'd get 32/5. And remember, we said that was what 6 2/5 is, so it's a way to check your work. Here, both our dividend and our divisor are mixed numbers. 3/4 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So I have 14/3 divided by 12/2 is 24, plus 11 is 35 twelfths. 14 thirds divided by 35 twelfths is the same as 14 thirds multiplied by the reciprocal of 35 twelfths, which is 12. 35ths. 3 and 12 have a common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 35 and 14 have a common factor of 7. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 35 divided by 7 is 5. So now we have 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. 1 multiplied by 5 is 5. And 8/5 is equal to 1 and 3/5. So 2 and 11/12 goes into 4 and 2/3, 1 and 3/5 times. Which, you know, if you just get rid of the fractions for a second, 2 goes into 4 2 times. This number's close to 2. So it's just think about whether your answer is reasonable. And in this case, this quotient is reasonable. All right, I hope that helped with fraction division. There's lots of practice below to work on this, and then use the keys to check your work. And thank you for taking the extra time to work on this skill.